The tiger salamander is a fascinating amphibian that is found in North America. They are known for their large size, long tail, and yellow and black stripes on their body. Tiger salamanders are amazing hunters in nature because they use their excellent sense of smell to find prey. They also have sharp teeth and claws to capture and kill prey. How they hunt frogs and why they are amazing at it. Tiger salamanders are one of the few amphibians that hunt their prey. They use a variety of hunting techniques to catch frogs. The tiger salamander has a long sticky tongue which is used to catch its prey. The tongue is also covered in a slimy substance, which helps it stick to the frog's skin and prevent it from escaping. Frogs are usually hunted by waiting for them to come close enough and then catching them with their tongue. Tiger salamanders can also ambush frogs by hiding under leaves or logs and then leaping out when they pass by. Frogs have a number of survival mechanisms that they use against predators, but these methods do not work against the tiger salamander because it hunts in water where the frog cannot jump away from danger and its sticky tongue makes it almost impossible to escape. Tiger salamander kills frogs with fungus. The tiger salamander is a type of amphibian that can be found in the eastern United States, Canada, and Mexico. They are one of the few species of salamander that can live in an environment with no water at all. The tiger salamander has a special relationship with fungi, which it uses to help it hunt for food. The tiger salamander has an unusually close relationship with fungi. The fungus is found in the salamander's mouth and on its skin. The fungus helps the salamander hunt for food by attracting prey with its smell or taste. Once the prey is near enough to be caught, the fungus will release chemicals that paralyze them so they cannot escape. Appearance. The tiger salamander has a rather short, rounded snout, strong legs, a thick head, and a long tail. The exact colors and patterns vary throughout the entire range based on the species, but the base color of the body is usually brown, green, or gray. This is overlaid with bright yellow or duller brown dots or stripes, which give it the name. The average size of the tiger salamander is about 15 to 20 centimeters in length and 125 grams in weight, or about the same weight as a teacup. The largest specimens can grow up to 35 centimeters in length, which is very large for a salamander. Behavior. As with all other members of the mole salamander genus, this species spends most of its life in underground burrows, extending about 60 centimeters down to escape the temperature fluctuations near the surface. Whereas many other species of mole salamanders are drawn to abandoned burrows, the tiger salamander digs its own burrows right beside a large body of water. The creature rarely ventures out of these holes except to feed at night or to mate, which can make them very difficult to find. In fact, this reclusive salamander has very little social contact, even with members of its own species outside of the breeding season. The skin is an important element of the salamander's survival. It serves as the main means of respiration. Chemicals released from the skin are an important signal in the mating season. And in order to defend itself against predators, the tiger salamander produces a toxin from its tail gland. When the salamander is threatened, it will rear up and display the gland, sometimes squirting the toxin directly at the predator. Although not deadly, this substance produces a very painful stinging sensation. The markings and colors serve as a warning to avoid the salamander altogether. Many predators will learn this painful lesson. Habitat. As perhaps the most common and prolific salamander species in North America, the tiger salamander occurs throughout most of the United States, Canada, and eastern Mexico. Each species or subspecies has a different geographical range, which is usually indicated by its name: Eastern tiger salamander, Western barred tiger salamander, California tiger salamander, etc. But regardless of species, this salamander's preferred habitats are grasslands and woodlands right next to ponds, lakes, and streams with loose soil in which to dig. It thrives best with a consistent temperature and humidity. Diet. The tiger salamander will consume almost anything it can find, including worms, frogs, insects, snails, slugs, fish, and even other salamanders. If there isn't enough prey in the area, then the tiger salamander may resort to cannibalizing other members of its own species. Predators and threats. The tiger salamander faces many threats in the wild, including predation, pollution, deforestation, and habitat destruction, high acidity levels in their breeding pools, and even vehicular accidents. Acid rain was a particular problem before the implementation of the Clean Air Act of 1990, which, according to the National Geographic, cut sulfur dioxide emissions by 88% as of 2017. Nitrogen dioxide levels also fell by 50% in the same period. What eats the tiger salamander? An adult tiger salamander is preyed upon by birds such as owls, turtles, snakes, badgers, and bobcats. The larvae are also vulnerable to aquatic insects and snakes. Reproduction and lifespan. The tiger salamander initiates the reproductive process at some point between late winter and early spring when they migrate to their collective breeding pools. The courtship process involves a complicated set of behaviors. After the male finds a suitable mate, he will nudge her with his head to express his interest. She reciprocates this behavior by nudging the male's vent area, inducing him to release his sperm material, which the female will then collect. The competition for females is so fierce that some males will interrupt the courtship process of another male and attempt to substitute his own sperm instead. After a very short gestation period of only 1 or 2 days, the female lays up to 100 eggs at a time and then secures them to twigs, grasses, and leaves at the bottom of the pool. She can deposit multiple masses of eggs in a single breeding season to ensure the viability of the next generation. Many of these young are not expected to survive, and the parents provide no particular protection for them. The reproduction strategy is based upon sheer numbers. After an incubation period of about 4 weeks, the larvae emerge from the eggs with a yellowish or olive body, dark blotches or stripes along the side, a white belly, large external gills, and an aquatic tail. They spend most of the spring and early summer period feeding and growing in the original pool of their birth. At about 2 to 5 months of age, they undergo a transformative metamorphosis by which they reach their adult phase. As they adapt to a new terrestrial life, the salamanders fully lose their gills and develop a set of lungs to breathe. If conditions on land are particularly poor, then the larva may delay metamorphosis for as long as necessary so they can continue to live underwater. Although they are still able to sexually reproduce, these salamanders maintain the same basic physiology as their larval stage through a process known as neoteny. The salamanders can be stuck in the larval form for months, years, or even their entire lives. However, they still retain the option to undergo metamorphosis at any time once conditions improve. If they survive the juvenile stage, when many of them fall victim to predators, the average salamander reaches sexual maturity at around 4 to 5 years of age. This species has a lifespan of 10 to 16 years in the wild, relatively long-lived for a salamander. Some individuals have been known to live almost 25 years in captivity. Population. These animals are currently considered to be a species of least concern by the IUCN Red List. It is not quite known how many of these salamanders exist in the wild, but population numbers appear to be stable, despite some populations being isolated and fragmented from each other. The decline of pollution, acid rain, and habitat destruction have helped to secure the future of this species. In the zoo. Because of this animal's reclusive nature, the best chance you may have to see one is in a zoo. They can be found at the St. Louis Zoo, Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Garden, Zoo Atlanta, the Maryland Zoo, Louisville Zoo, Utah's Hoggle Zoo, San Francisco Zoo, and the Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C. The tiger salamander is an important part of the ecosystem because they help with pest control, They keep water clean, and they provide nutrients for other animals. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching.